Uber burned through its entire AI coding budget for 2026 in just 4 months. Their own COO admitted that token usage didn't correlate with the useful features that it shipped to its users. And that's a miscalculation that's happening across the entire industry.
I'm going to ask them how much did you spend in tokens? And that person said $5,000. I will go ape something else.
Yes.
Right.
If that $500,000 engineer did not consume at least $250,000 worth of tokens, I am going to be deeply alarmed.
That was the CEO of NVIDIA, a company who's only recently been dethroned as the most valuable company in the world. They're the ones behind the chips which power AI, and they've poured billions into AI companies. In fact, big tech have collectively announced over $740 billion in capex this year. 115,000 workers have been laid off over 150 different companies.
AI token spend is continuing to rise, and they're making the call to actually keep that going for now. And so mostly what we've seen in these cases where the spend has become so high, some of that future headcount has been reduced to make room for these AI budgets, but nobody's slowing down on AI.
Right. No one wants to be the first to say that we're going to cut back on AI, essentially. So you're kind of locked in this dilemma where you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't.
It's clear to see that the industry are choosing to allocate funding into AI rather than its employees, even when it doesn't make any financial sense. Why burn a significant amount of money on something that has no clear return on investment? In fact, an MIT study has found that AI is only economically viable for 23% of roles. The remaining 77%, humans are cheaper. So companies are cutting human labor to fund AI, which costs more than labor, just so they can get productivity gains that haven't actually yet been verified. Companies now need to think strategically about AI costs. One key thing they need to ask themselves is this: does every task require the most expensive model available? 95% of enterprise AI usage runs on the most expensive frontier models, even when it's not needed. AI used to never be this expensive, and yet recently it seems to be all over the news. What's actually changed? Well, in April 2026, Anthropic moved their enterprise users from flat rate plans to usage billings. GitHub Copilot then followed weeks later. And it's only going to get worse. AI usage is going to go up by another 30 to 50%. So if costs are only going up, the real question is if the returns are going up with them. Gartner's May 2026 survey says AI tools will save sellers 4.8 hours per week on average. The same report says 72% of sales organizations are not reinvesting those time savings into high-value work, which then limits the sales payoff for them. So the gain of AI can only be realized if we reinvest the time savings into high-value work. There is a consensus among companies that AI investment won't see a return for a long time, but feel forced to endure the rising AI costs so that they're not left behind. OpenAI's projections show losses for this year. In fact, they're not projected to make a profit until 2029. As costs rise, companies are forced to choose between tokens or its employees, and almost all will choose tokens. Companies are now looking at open source models to keep AI costs down. These are models which are free to download, but the user still need to pay for its own cloud computing on which the AI models run on. This often works out to be cheaper than using frontier models. Looking at the Artificial Intelligence Index, the official ranking of AI models in the world, 5 of them are open source. It is true that the top models, Fable, Opus, and ChatGPT 5.6, are frontier models, which, when we compare cost per task, are on the higher end. As we've established already, companies don't require the most expensive models for every single task. So we'll consider using open source models for when tasks don't require as much sophistication, given that open source models are cheaper and actually the difference in quality is only marginal. Okay, now I'm going to end off with this quote by Lisa M., the founder of Inversion AI. The mistake is treating AI as a feature you add. The winners this decade won't run the biggest model. They'll have built systems where the right model runs the right task, moving towards workflows that need a human in the loop less and less. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're a founder who's struggling with AI costs, you're not alone. AI token usage is evolving so fast that even the top Fortune 500 companies can't keep track of their spend. I run ThriveBase, a cost optimization business which helps founders get the right models on the right tasks, so their AI spend turns into a measurable return on investment. If that's something that interests you, please book a discovery call or visit my website for more information. Because at the rate that we're going, the company that survives isn't the one that spends the most on tokens, it's the one that's spending smart. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.